Hello class, my name is Sierra Harwood, and today I'm here to teach you math. So before we get into our lesson, I want to just say thank you all for being here, and I'm glad that you were able to come in and have this fun experience to share with not only me, but with your classmates. So before we start onto our lesson, I'm going to hand you a few items, and I want you to take these items, and you can do whatever you want with these items. You can play with them, you can pretty much just fiddle around, and I just want you to keep in mind, what do you think we would use these items today in our math lesson? Or how would you use it in a previous lesson that you were taught? And I'm going to hand you some cups, and I'm going to hand you some other things like some colored pencils, or for example, if we have some in class or on hand, I would hand you some toy cars to play with. And I want you to take a few moments and just do what you want with them. You can like work with a friend at your desk, or you can just do whatever you want by yourself. But just keep in mind, just keep thinking about that thought. What could I do to use this for math? Either maybe what we're going to do today with this, or maybe something that you've done before. Alright, so now that you've taken a few moments to explore with your items that I've handed out, and to think about how we could use that with math, we're going to move forward towards our math lesson. Today, I want you guys to keep in mind about what kind of math would we use outside of school. So who here, for example, likes going shopping? Or who likes to go on a scavenger hunt? Well, today we're going to talk about the math that can be involved in those kind of activities and a lot of other activities that you do, not only in our classroom, but outside in your everyday life. Today we're going to learn about addition and subtraction up to 10. Your learning objective is to understand and apply the use of addition and subtraction up to 10 to solve math and real-world problems. You will also have to be able to actively listen and discuss our book content that we will be going over that relates to our math lesson. So the first thing we're going to do today is that we're actually going to go over the vocab for addition and subtraction and just kind of see the different kind of words that mean the same thing as the common words that you usually hear for addition and subtraction. But we're also going to go forward with that, and we're going to look at the different types of ways you can look at a problem and how it can be presented. So to do this, we're going to look at our anchor chart.
So now we're going to go over our anchor chart, and this is our anchor chart for today for addition and subtraction. So we're going to first start with the addition side. So some of the words that it can be associated with addition is sum, join, and plus. And this, if those of you who do not know, this is the addition sign. So first we're going to look at a number sentence. So we're going to look at the number sentence 4 plus 6. So this is what a number sentence looks like. This is what you'll typically see either on a board or on a piece of paper given to you by a teacher. So 4 plus 6 equals 10. So another way you can see a problem, this exact problem, is using dots. So let's say we drew dots. So these are actual smiley faces. So we're going to have these green smiley faces, there's 4 of them, and that represents the number 4. And then we're going to add 6. So there's these yellow smiley faces, and there's 6 of them. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which equal 10. Now once we've seen the number sentence and the dots, we're going to move on to a number line. So this is a number line that goes from 1 to 20. And what we're going to do is we're going to start off at the number 4. So the number 4 right here is marked with a green mark. And then you're going to jump over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 jumps. And you'll land at the number 10. And that will be your answer. Now, it's pretty much the same thing with the subtraction, but we're going to move over to the subtraction side. So some words that are associated with subtraction that mean the same thing is minus, decrease, and remains, and this is the subtraction symbol. Now our number sentence for subtraction is 10 minus 6, which equals 4. So this time on our draw and dots, we're going to actually start with the whole number of 10, and we're going to mark out 6 of our dots, and then your remainder will be 4. So like 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the answer is 4. Now our number line, instead of jumping to the right, we're going to actually start at 10 on our number line and jump back 6 times. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And that's going to lead us to our answer of 4. So this will be up in our classroom.
So now that we've looked at our anchor chart, we're going to go on. There are many different ways that addition and subtraction up to 10 can be used in not only our classroom, but in real life. One of the activities we'll be doing today to practice solving such problems is the cup game. I will split you guys up into groups of 5 and give you 10 paper cups. You may decorate at least 2 cups if you wish. These cups will represent your problem. You will use these to help you solve your problem. So each student, when they get into their groups, they'll need to grab at least 2. And you can decorate them if you wish, that way you don't get them mixed up if we switch up groups so you have your actual cups. We will then use these cups to answer the problems. For example, 10 minus 3. So there's 10 cups and you would take away 3 and that should give you your answer. Once you have answered a question as a group, and you all have to agree together that this is the answer for the problem. Once you guys have answered it, and if it is correct, I will give you some candy or a small prize each time as a little reward. And then once we've all gone over each group's answer, I will then answer the board. I will then use the board to answer the problem and show you step by step how we got there, just in case if there was any confusion or if you just weren't quite sure what you needed to do. And we'll do a few different types of questions with addition and subtraction, and then we'll move from that into scenario-based questions. For example, let's say there were 7 dinosaurs that went on a journey. As they were traveling, 3 other dinosaurs stumbled across on their path, so they decided to join the group. How many dinosaurs is in the group altogether now? So that would be 7 plus 3. And we would talk about how we would represent that and how we would solve that question. So in that example, it would have been 10. So we're going to do a few of those as well.
Alright, so now I'm going to show you what it's going to look like when we start solving our problems. So, for example, I'm going to put a problem on the board. So the problems are going to look a little bit like this. So let's say we have 5 plus 3 equals what? So we're going to figure out what 5 plus 3 equals. And how we're going to do this is, you see this first number? This is going to be where you start off with your cups. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your 10 cups in your group and you're going to take out 5. You're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So here's your 5 cups that you're starting with. So now that we're looking at this next symbol, that's the addition sign. That means we're going to add to this group. And so we're going to add 3 more cups to get our answer. So 1, 2, 3. So from here, what we're going to do is you're going to count how many cups you now have, and that should be your remainder. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So 8 cups is what you have. So 5 plus 3 equals 8. And so what we're going to do is we're going to answer problems like this a few different times. So we're going to do another addition problem for this example. So let me erase what I have here first real quick. Alright, so our next problem we're going to think about doing, let's say I put the problem, we're going to say 4 plus, let's say 5. Okay, we'll say 4 plus 5. What does that equal? So 4 plus 5. Again, we're going to start off with that first number, and that's going to be the first number of cups we have in our group. So we're going to put down 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we start off with 4 cups. And now we're going to add 5 cups to our group, and that should show our remainder. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now what we're going to do is, now that we have 4 plus 5, we're going to count these up, and that should lead us to our answer. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 is our answer for our problem. So 4 plus 5 equals 9. So now that we've shown you some examples of addition, now we're going to move on to subtraction. So what does a subtraction problem look like, and how would we address that this time? So we're going to go with, let's say, 9 minus 3 equals, so just like how we do with addition, we're always going to set our group up with that first number. And what we're going to do is just like how we did in addition, we're going to start with the first number for our subtraction problem. And to do that, we're going to grab our cups, and we're going to put 9 cups out first. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there are 9 cups out for our first group. And then since this is subtraction, that means we're going to take away from our first group instead of adding. So we're going to take away 3 cups. 1, 2, 3. So now that we've taken away 3 cups, that should be a remainder. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So our remainder is 6. So 9 minus 3 equals 6. So now that we've done this, we're going to do one more problem and then move on to our scenarios. So first, let me erase this problem off the board. So for our next problem, I'm going to say, let's do 7 minus 4 equals what? So 7 minus 4, again, we're going to start off with that first number, and that is going to be the number of cups we put down in our group. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have 7 cups, and again, once we get to this part, we're going to take away and not add since it's for subtraction. So we're going to take away 4 cups. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So this will be our remainder, and our remainder is 3. 1, 2, 3. So 7 minus 4 equals 3. And now that we've answered that, we're going to move forward in some examples of what kind of scenario-based questions might you see and will be given when we go forward in this lesson. So now one of our scenarios we're going to be starting off with, just as I kind of explained earlier, let's say we're going on a journey with some dinosaurs. So there are 3 dinosaurs, and excuse my drawing, 3 dinos on a journey, and they're going to, let's say, a water hole to get some water. As they're traveling, they run in to 2 other dinosaurs who end up joining them on the journey. So as we're looking at this, we're going to need to figure out now how many dinosaurs are now in the group overall. So this would look like 3 plus 2 equals what? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now there are 5 dinos all together. So another scenario-based question that we're going to look at today is, let's say that you are wanting some toys and you're wanting to finish your collection of your Power Ranger figurines. So you already own 5 Power Ranger figurines, and you know that there is 8 that you need to finish it. So this would look like, and you're needing to figure out how many more do you need. So you have 5 already, and you need 8. So you have 8 minus 5 equals what? So then we're going to figure out what that is. So you're going to take 5 away from the 8, and what you can do is you can draw out 8 figurines. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 figurines, and then you can mark off 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the remainder is how many you need left. So we have 1, 2, and 3. So we need 3 more figurines to finish our collection. So you can do this problem. These kind of scenario-based problems happen with addition and subtraction. Okay, so now we're going to move on to some independent practices that you can do at home. So these are some 2 online independent practices you can find if you have access to a computer and Wi-Fi. So we have Alien Addition and then Minus Mission. They can both be found on Math Playground, and the first one we're going to kind of look at today is Alien Addition. So this is going to follow the addition side of our lesson plan. So once you click play, it's going to show you the instructions for the activity. So you're going to use the left and right arrow to move your spaceships, and then you're going to use either the space bar or the up bar to send a strike. So you're going to click next. So once you get to this page, on the content range, technically that's the number range. So you're going to choose 1 to 10 because that's what we're trying to practice right now, is adding and subtracting up to 10. And you can also choose the speed of the game. I'm going to use slow for this example just because I'm going to be talking while I'm playing. So there is 6 stages of this game, and it is timed, and you have as many opportunities to play this again and again until you're ready to try something else. So we're going to click play. So what we're going to do is we're going to find the question that represents the answer that we have for 3. So 2 plus 1 equals 3. We're going to fire that and go forward. Now that we have 5, we're going to go 2 plus 3 equals 5. So you're going to keep doing this as you're going to have a different answer, and you're going to have to figure out which spaceship above you represents the correct equation for that answer. So 1 plus 2 equals 3, 4, 2 plus 2, and like you're just going to keep going forward until the time runs out or until you receive as many hits as possible. So as you can see in the left bottom corner, the timer is slowly filling up. It's almost run out. And obviously you're going to keep going. If one of these spaceships get to the bottom, that means game over. And you're going to have to start over again. And then if you're having struggles, let's say you're not quite there yet to do problems that go up to 10, you can actually start with a lower range, let's say like 1 to 7, and go in that. And then once you got that down, you can go back to the 1 to 10. Or if you're wanting to really challenge yourself, you can actually raise the range up to like 1 to 15, sorry, and then or 1 to 20. I would suggest not going over 20. Stay in that 2 10s kind of range. But this is a good activity to use at home. You can do this as many times as you want, and you can change it up to whatever you prefer. And then after you've done this a few times, you can move on to Minus Mission, which is practically the same kind of setup as our previous game, except this time you're doing problems for subtraction. So you're going to click that, and it's the same instructions as before, but instead of firing at spaceships, you're going to be firing at these blobs. So you're going to click next. Again, make sure that you change the range to what you prefer, and also like the game speed as well. And then you'll go forward, and again, it's the same setup. 1 of 6 stages, and 1 minute is your length of time. And you can do this as many times as you want, just like how you can in addition. So you'll click play. So this one, you're going to find the equation that equals 4. So for this one, it would be 5 minus 1 equals 4. And then now you're going to find another one that equals the same thing. So 6 minus 2 equals 4. And now you're trying to find 1. So 3 minus 2 is 1. So you're just going to keep going forward. It's the same thing like the addition, except with addition equations coming, you need to look and figure out what subtraction equation is the answer that you have. And you can do this, you can do these 2 games, or you can actually find some other online activities to do if these ones don't quite appeal to you or they don't seem to clarify in the way that you work best with. If you're going to do something different outside of the independent practice that we provided in class, I would suggest coming up to me and showing me something that you found that you're wanting to use as your independent practice, just so I can make sure that it covers the requirements for our standard, because we don't want you doing an independent practice that isn't actually covering the lesson plan. Um, so let's say, for example, you actually don't have a computer or Wi-Fi, so you're unable to access these two games. So another thing you can do is you can go home and actually find a cooking book. And in that cooking book, what I would suggest is that you look at the ingredients and how much of that ingredients would you need to make this recipe. So, for example, let's say you found a recipe for an apple pie. You need 7 apples to make this apple pie, and you have 3. So you need to figure out how many more apples would you need to finish this apple pie. So you can do that with all the different types of ingredients that you have, or if you have too many, subtract from the ones that you already have to get to your answer. And then if you don't want to do the recipe side of things, another activity you can do is you can actually create your own kind of scavenger hunt. And with this one, you can, get your family and your friends involved in as well. You can either create your scavenger hunt yourself, or you can actually have your parent or someone do it for you. So they can make a list of a certain amount of items that you're going to need to track down and find. And then you're going to need to figure out how many items overall does these specific ones represent. For example, let's say you have a list, and on that list it says that you need to find 3 pairs of socks and 4 books. Once you get that together, you're going to need to figure out how many uh, items does that equal out to in the end, or if they were to subtract away from it, what would be the answer? So technically, you're kind of using your scavenger hunt as your manipulatives, just like we did in class using our cups or our colored pencils or cars, whatever we're using it for the day. And then once you've done that, again, if that doesn't appeal to you and you have a better idea of some independent practice that you can use for our lesson, just make sure to bring it to me so we can go over it, just so we can see that it does meet those requirements and that it will be a useful tool in your independent time. Now that we've finished looking at the different types of independent practice you can do at home, we're going to go forward and read the book 10 Flashing Fireflies by Philemon Sturgess. And as we're reading this book, I want you guys to think about how this relates to the math lesson that we've just gone over. 10 Flashing Fireflies by Philemon Sturgess. What do we see in the summer night? 10 flashing fireflies burning bright. Catch the one twinkling there like a star. 1 flashing firefly in our jar. What do we see in the summer night? 9 flashing fireflies burning bright. Capture another one. Now there are 2 flashing fireflies in our jar. What do we see in the summer night? 8 twinkling fireflies blinking bright. Let's catch another one. Now there are 3 twinkling fireflies in our jar. What do we see in the summer night? 7 bright fireflies, what a sight! Catch the one by the bush. Now there are 4 flickering fireflies in our jar. What do we see in the summer night? 6 sparkling fireflies blinking bright. Catch the one flying high. Now there are 5 fiery fireflies in our jar. What do we see in the summer night? 5 fiery fireflies flashing bright. Get the one way up there. Now there are 6 sparkling fireflies in our jar. What do we see in the summer night? 4 flickering fireflies flashing bright. You caught another one. Now there are 7 bright fireflies in our jar. What do we see in the summer night? 3 twinkling fireflies, glowing light. I've caught another one. Now there are 8 twinkling fireflies in our jar. What do we see in this dark blue night? 7 flashing fireflies, golden light. We've caught another one. Now there are 9 flashing fireflies in our jar. What do we see in this dark, dark night? 1 flashing firefly's lonely light. I'm glad we caught it, for now there are 10 flashing fireflies in our jar. Let's go to bed by the jar's bright light. Pull up the covers and say good night. Watch them all carefully. Look, they are blinking so slowly in our jar. Open the jar, for it's much more fun watching them fly away one by one. Fly out the window and flash goodbye. Fly away, fly, firefly. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Dash away, flash away. Now there are none. Now that we've finished discussing the connection with the book Ten Flashing Fireflies to our math activity and standard, I want us to go over again our learning objectives. Our goal today was to understand and apply the use of addition and subtraction up to 10 to solve math/real world problems. Another part of our goal was to actively listen and discuss the book content and how it has a connection to the math lesson. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand out a piece of paper that has 6 Bloom questions. You're going to answer these questions so that I can see where you are in understanding certain aspects of our lesson plan today. You will now get back into your groups, and I will give you a dry erase board and a marker. Each group will be given a problem to solve, but this time you're not working together to solve that problem. You're going to solve it by yourself. Once you all have got an answer for the problem, you will talk to the people in your group and explain your reasoning and process out loud. After you finish doing that, you will need to make your own problem or real-life scenario for someone in your group to solve. Once you have finished doing that part of it, I will then evaluate you guys on your performance and understanding of the activity. So our 6 Bloom questions that you're going to be handed out first will be these 6 Bloom questions that you see right in front of you. The first one is, can you define what addition and subtraction is? Are you able to explain how to subtract or add up to 10? If given a problem of either addition or subtraction, would you be able to solve it? Would you be able to differentiate which problem you should add or subtract? Are you able to support your reasoning for why your answer is correct? And can you create your own problem of addition and subtraction up to 10? So seeing how you guys answer these helps me to gauge where certain people are at in their understanding of this lesson, and maybe where some of the class or the majority of the class is still kind of confused about, so we can address that later on. And so for our rubric, this is the rubric I'm going to be using to assess your performance and understanding as you're making your math problem and scenario for another student in your group to solve, and how you went about solving that problem presented to you by yourself. So I'm going to grade you on your use of manipulatives, your working with others, the explanation and completion of your activities. And then after you guys have finished your assessments, I will then go forward into grading and seeing where each student is either struggling or has very clear understanding of. Once I have done that, I can figure out where we might need some work on, and then obviously we'll practice the other parts as well, just to make sure that we don't lose our touch with answering those problems. And that will be the end of our lesson. And then if you guys have any other questions regarding this, or you just need some extra help, you can always just come up to me and ask, and I'm always there to give you some extra supplies and materials for either you to take home, or we can set up some time for one-on-one teaching time so I can help you specifically if you're struggling. And I hope you have a nice day.